Okay. So I decided we're just gonna dive into the new project today. We might as well, right? That other one's gonna take a lot more planning than I feel like doing at the moment, so let's just dive into a new one. We might as well. Okay. So let's start to line this guy out here. Hi, Momo.
Can I give you a minute, buddy?
Good afternoon, sir. You showed no wanting to get up from your comfy spot earlier. Even when I was visiting you in your doggy bed, you were like, no, I'm happy here. And the second I hit start stream, he's like, hey lady, guess what time it is?
I'm pretty sure it's the tone you use when you start your podcast. Excuse me, not podcast, or your stream.
I don't know.
No, it's the exact tone you use. Give me just a second, buddy. I know you're there.
Hi. Hi, my bud.
I acknowledge you. You just gotta give me a minute.
He's over here. He's not with you. Hi. Hi. Good afternoon. Oh, I got a kiss. Thank you. Hi. Hi, cute cuddles. Hi, my cute buddy. My cute old man. What's up? Yeah. Well, Daddy said he's gonna get you. You just gotta wait a minute, okay? Can you do that for me? Can you wait just a minute? Can you?
Alright, it's gonna be a couple minutes because I have to hurry up and finish this real quick.
Hi.
So that we start everything.
Do I get a happy tail this afternoon? Oh, thank you. Oh, happy tails. Oh, happy tails. Oh, we're such a happy boy. Where is he? There he is. Hi, happy boy. So Momo's here. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Oh, ear scratches. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, ear scratches are the best. Ear scratches are the very best. Yes, they are. Oh, my goodness. Yes, 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 yes. Hi. Are we such a good boy? Are we such a good boy? Yeah? You only ever suddenly need attention or need to go potty when mommy goes live. I was giving you attention earlier. We were... Oh, didn't mean to donk you. Oh, there's Dad. Dad's ready for you now. Hurry.
Thank you for your lack of patience.
Can always count on Momo for that. Alright, so before we were interrupted by the doggo. So, we are starting on following, or at least getting set up to follow. I feel like my pen's not putting ink down here. Like, certain times it feels like it, and then other times it doesn't. I have my chalk pen, but the chalk pen doesn't have a fine point on it. And I have found that after a while my chalk pen does fade a little bit. But I need a fine point to at least get some shapes in here. Alright. Okay. So that actually went down a little bit better than I thought it was going down as. Alright. So I'm going to stick that up there. So we are going to be following along with season 8, or season 3, excuse me. We're finishing season 3. We're trying to. Episode 8. Hey, Mobot. What happened? Lobot. Oh. Really? You are custom sensitive, or, case sensitive now. You didn't used to be. Alright then, well, there's the link to the tutorial on the Bob Ross YouTube page for those that want to watch the tutorial in full. Okay, so I had a little bit of trouble getting this guy sketched in yesterday. Oh, are we gonna stand? We're gonna be a burr in my ass? Let's not be a burr in my ass. Okay. So I do need, well, I guess I don't need the T-square. I mean, the T-square, well, yeah, I think I do need the T-square. The T-square is clear. So it lets me see where I'm at. Can kinda get lined up a little bit here. So I think we decided it was about halfway. I might come just a little under halfway here. Or a little, yeah, a little under. See how that does us. That does not. That's a little high. I want to be a little bit lower. Alright, let's try. About here. Okay, so we'll disregard that top line. So we've got that in there. Got an inch on my leg. Alright. No! Shit. Damn it. Technical difficulties. 1 second, please. Bad enough the computer booted in BIOS. Now I can't put it with the fucking safe mode or something up. I'm like, no, you're too new to be doing this shit. What the fuck happened? You have no idea. Sometimes my one monitor doesn't always register. It's weird. It's the second time that's happened, but it was with a different monitor. I don't know. I hope that's not an indication of other problems. Okay, so we have our main horizon line back here. That's gonna be this guy. I'm actually gonna put an H on him so I don't lose him. We then have a slightly lower one. Not too much lower. Right? Like, say, there. So that's gonna be kind of like water. What do we call that? Like our wave line. Alright. So on our wave line, we kind of have our building starting to in here. I kind of have a bit of a curve. Like, what the fuck is touching me? About to have a conniption fit. It's the wire from my headphones. So then here, I kind of have this guy, and then he kind of comes in here, and then we kind of have another guy that kind of drifts on and down into here. This guy is kind of a bit higher. Okay. So there's kind of this, you know. What if we were to bring that out a little bit further? I think I feel a little bit better with that extended there. Okay, so we've got maybe there to about there. And we've got that there. But I can't put the rest of that in yet because other colors need to happen around that. It's kind of, might even be a little high, but it's kind of where I'm wanting that to be right now. This is our horizon line. So there's our, I'm gonna adjust our roof a little bit here. Like ours is probably going to be positioned slightly different. And then we've got a slightly higher bit of roof here. This guy down. They are kind of in the same height though. So we'll just take that back that way. That's fine. And then kind of between the two, there's this other bit of something here. there's a bit of a hill that kind of comes down this way. We don't really see a whole lot in there. And then from this direction, there's a bit of a hill here. This might be like a pathway coming up from the shoreline. We can make it that. I mean, we'll get that all figured out. Okay, now I need a circle for our moon, and I'm trying to figure out what size circle we're gonna do. Bottle cap might work. So I do have our reference photo up there in the corner. Well, not really reference photo per se, but our quick concept sketch, I guess, would be more accurate. So if we put this guy maybe here, this might be super big. So something like that there. That is pretty big. It might be okay though. Kind of want that to be just a bit smaller though. Okay, so we'll take the smaller one, hopefully, if the pen doesn't get too smeary on the white fluff as it's going in. So then over here we've got kind of our yellow, and then there's kind of our orange, and then we have our red kind of coming in around that. Again, real rough here. Real super rough. Okay. So, kind of have the basics of that worked in there. Alright, so we're gonna pull the new buddy out. This is gonna be fun. Alright, so let's get our stuff together here. Come back here. My finger, guys, was trying to walk away. Alright, so let's slip on our finger protectors here. So Bob already has his canvas black. So, we're playing catch up right off the bat, right? Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why didn't you just do it on a piece of black felt? Yeah, it would have been so much easier. It might have been. Maybe. But it's really hard to draw on black felt unless you have like a white charcoal pencil, and I don't. Maybe one of these days I'll pick one up, but even then the charcoal is gonna fade and smudge off, and I needed kind of a little bit of precision to a degree down in here. I know the lines are messy and they're not super precise, but I need something that's not going to be like way wider of a tip than it needs to be, or it's not going to like disappear on me. And I had a darker charcoal gray that I was trying to draw on before we got started, and I was like, oh no, that's not going to work, because I couldn't see anything on it. Alright, so I'm going to pull this guy to me a little bit close. Are we ready? That is great. It's going in super smooth. Super quiet. Oh, that's fantastic. This is my first time actually breaking this one in. Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. So this is a map from Wool Buddy. There was another needle felting channel on YouTube that seems to have their, I can't tell if they're promoting this website or it's their own company or what it is, but they said they don't move their project around on their mat and it doesn't stick, and I'm like, okay, their mat is also super thin, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's like thinner than a sketchbook. It's like maybe the thickness of a composition book, it looks like a composition notebook. And they're like, oh no, we don't have to pull up on this as we're going, because I guess that mat might be good for working with linen, because they were talking about how to prep linen to keep it from buckling and stuff. And I was just kind of like, okay. And then she pulled up hers and she's like, see, there's a little bit coming through on the back, but not so much. And I'm like, mine's a lot fuzzier than that on the back. She's like, if it's real fuzzy, then you're stabbing too far. And I'm like, okay. But even not stabbing that far in, I have a lot coming through. But then again, I'm also using felts. And we are going to have to move this guy a bit more often. It looks like. I love the feel of it, but we're going to have to check in on him a little bit more often, it seems. So it is Monday. Hope everybody is having a good start to their week. What happened here? I'm crooked. How did we get crooked already on the first piece? Like, what happened? What the heck? Are we actually crooked though, or is it just an illusion? Is it just an illusion because of how that went down? Like if I cover the bottom, the top edge doesn't really look crooked, so it might just be an illusion for how this piece went in. That is entirely possible. Alright, but so far, doing okay. Alright. So, if it looks like the fluff is blowing around a little bit, I do have a fan running. Okay, so let's see here. Try to get this guy put in here. Now I can go a little bit over, you know, these lines are just guidelines. It's fine. The world's not gonna end if we dip into a section where we had it lined out for another color. It's all good. It's all good. So this guy said you do want to like move your project around a little bit so it doesn't stick. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're not on linen, so we should be fine there. But that channel, also on their website, they had felt sheets, but they're like, oh, these are 100% wool felt sheets. And I was like, okay. And here's like this bundle of colors together, like for like this season. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, these are, was it 8x12 or something? And I'm just like, okay. $28, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, how many pieces do you get? It took me forever to see that you get 6 sheets. I was like, I'm sorry, what? 6 sheets of something about the size of this for how much? They're like, oh, it's because it's 100% wool. And I'm like, it's thicker. It doesn't pucker. And I'm just like, my ass puckered at the mere thought of spending that much money for 6 sheets of felt. And I was just like, oh my god. It's like, how much are you selling your creations for? It's like, oh my god. That's a steep hill to climb when you're used to spending 25 cents a sheet at the craft store. I mean, granted, this one is not 100% wool. This is made with Eco-Fi, a PET fiber, made with up to 100% recycled purified plastic bottles. So we are using a recycled felt, or a felt made out of recycled material. So this top edge doesn't have to be like 100% straight. We would like it to be as straight as we can get it, but it's okay if it's a little off because the dowel rod is going to sit up here, so we can use that to cover any slightly off edge up here. Oh, we didn't draw in shit. That's alright. I was gonna say we didn't draw in the clouds around the moon, but I think we're okay. We'll just block in a lot of our black around it. And then we should be good to go in that regard. I am liking the sturdiness of this mat so far. It's not like the needles are going in great, but it feels solid. It doesn't feel squishy. I mean, when you touch it, it's pretty firm. I'm not sure if there's foam inside of this or if it's all wool. I don't know. It feels like maybe this is wrapped around a foam pad or something. It might not be. But regardless, I like the feel of it. It has a much different feel than the other one did. That's for sure. Okay. I have noticed with this one so far, haven't had to keep as tight of a rein on the fluff. Like, it's not grabbing at all. Maybe I'm just not stabbing that deep. I mean, we've still got a fair bit of fluff on the other side. But that's probably also to do with the material we are felting through. So yeah, I mean, we've got a good bit there. It's not quite as deep, but I will say so far I'm fairly happy with how this is coming along. I did manage to get some extra black fluff fluffed last night, so that was good. I got most of our colors restocked that we needed. Now I might need to fluff some more as we go along through this. Kind of depends on how much we need of the other colors and how far they go. I wasn't real sure how much we were gonna need of them. So since I already had a little bit in their bags, I was like, we might just wing it on those and see how usage goes for them. And, you know, we'll figure it out as we go. As we always tend to do. See, this piece feels like it's cut a little short. I don't feel like we have as much extra on the top and bottom edges. The sides feel the same, but I don't know if there was some shrinkage that happened after it got cut. That's why I tried to go with the charcoal piece, the charcoal color piece, because that one looked like it was more to the size that we had been dealing with. Just popping up and moving over a little bit. But so far, this is going down great. Not sponsored by this mat maker at all. I paid for this guy my own money. Well, with your money, really, because, you know, it was from Twitch. Twitch's money. The Twitch money went to buy this mat, but it was not gifted, put it that way. It was not free. I will say this particular piece of felt seems like it's gonna be a bit rambunctious. say the least. Be a little feisty. But sometimes you get those pieces of felt that just are. For whatever reason, they just are. Now, I'm not sure how much I want to fill in with black around our moon. Because we are going to have our other sky colors coming in, or cloud colors coming in around it. That's interesting. There was like a line there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay. So I'm trying not to stab too deep, so that way we don't get too anchored in. Like at the same time, we have to stab a little bit to get it attached to the piece. I will say this feels pretty soft so far. Excuse me. Alright. So I think we'll at the very least come across to our corner. Like at the moment, I'm not seeing too many splits and stuff happening, so maybe we were just stabbing too deep before. So I will say doing the little light butterfly stabs feels like that is going to take a lifetime to get through. We'll see. Maybe it won't. So I've just got it at this angle right now so I can see this top edge. So I can have some idea of what is happening over here. Your timer just rang. I didn't know if you heard it. So are you two playing together right now, or?
No, not till tonight. He had shit to do and I did too.
So what our friend Tyler was doing on Monday and Wednesday, Monday's kind of fallen apart, but I think the husband and him are still planning on doing something tonight. I think. I do feel some lines starting to form here. Now that is some of the blue fuzz from the mat mixed in with a little bit of the black. So, I mean, we'll see. This will be a good test for how I like this mat. See how it goes. I feel like I got nothing done yesterday after stream. Felt like I ran around in circles and got nothing accomplished. So after stream, I had to go and get dinner sorted. And then after dinner, we've been trying to do like a game night with my mom. So we played like 2 rounds of Uno. And a round of Yahtzee. And then I think a round of Scrabble. That piece is a little thin, so let's fluff him up just a little bit. Alright, I had a couple of spots here where it looked like I was seeing the felt poking through, like the gray, so I just want to come back in and layer that up right now. While we are thinking about it. While it's in front of me. So, how's everybody's Monday going? Is it starting off okay? Hopefully it is. Uh-oh. What's going on? Really, Twitch? Okay. Twitch disconnected me from the chat for some reason, and I don't know why. And then it reconnected me. I had to quick check OBS. I was like, what just happened? Is something going wrong again? I know I wasn't pleased when I got up and tried to turn my PC on and it did something stupid. I'm like, no, 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 no. You're too new to be doing this. Way too new. We're not starting that shit. I don't think so. Okay, I don't think the camera is shaking. It doesn't look like it, so we got that going for us. Alright, how are we doing here? We okay here? I still feel like you're a little loose. I will say those other ladies were also using wool fiber or wool batting or something, and I'm using acrylic yarn. So that might also be the difference. Where I've got more coming through because I'm using the acrylic yarn instead of the wool. Okay. That still seems pretty good. Alright, now get a bit more black here. And I think we're gonna get this guy worked into here. Like I've got some white fuzz mixed in. But I'm not really sure why, if that was like in there to begin with. It might have come from my brush because I did the white yarn before this one. I actually had a disaster with my white ball of yarn. My white skein, I've been leaving them in the skeins as they came from the store when I got them. And just pulling from the center, right? Well, somehow, some way, this particular white one, I guess when they glued the label, some of the glue seeped out and hit the outer strands of yarn. And then, so like there was some strands of yarn stuck together on the outside. And I still felt like I had about half the skein left on the white. White was one of those colors we blew through a lot of when we were working on the gingerbread house over Christmas. And when I was pulling it in and out of my art drawers that are next to me, I guess somehow the skein kind of partially exploded on the one end, and it was just yarn bits hanging everywhere, and I was like, oh no, when I pulled it out to start refilling my bag of white fluff. I was like, this is not it, yo. So I kind of had to do a little bit of surgery on the white skein of yarn, and I found a piece of scrap piece of watercolor paper under my monitor that I hadn't gotten rid of yet because, you know, me cleaning my desk, that doesn't happen very often. It happens when it gets to the point that I've got no room to work. Because I've got stuff stashed under my monitor and around my monitors, and I'm like, okay, I know where this is. And then I clean. What the fuck was that? My, get down. My.
Where is she?
She's by her keyboard. I heard something rattle, and I don't know what she did.
Could you stop nudging my mouse kitten?
She likes to walk all over Russell's keyboard. And he has a mechanical keyboard that doesn't have an off switch on it, so there were times where, before when he had his other wireless keyboard, he could just turn it off when he walked away. He can't do that now, so I think he looked up some kind of, I don't know, some kind of program he ended up getting where he can shut the keyboard off temporarily. Because he was coming back to all kinds of stupid shit, and he would like go to sleep and not turn his computer off and have like YouTube up or something, and I'd wake up to like voices, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? And one of the cats stepped on his keyboard and started the videos playing, and I'm just like, what is happening? Okay, so, I mean, we're still getting some coming through, but I think that's also due to this being not a wool piece of felt and stuff, but we're not doing too bad. So how's everybody? Everybody doing all right today? Everybody doing good? I hope so. Hope you're doing better than I am, or we are. So the husband had a tooth emergency pulled, I believe last Monday. He's almost done his antibiotics because they said it was really infected apparently, and he said he feels like he can still feel the infection there, like trying to seep out, and I'm like, so what does that mean? And he goes, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you've been taking your antibiotics. I was like, was the infection just that bad? He goes, I don't know. And he was gonna wait till like Wednesday to call, and I'm like, no, call them in the morning. We had this conversation last night. They said to call if you had any other concerns. And that's a concern that we probably shouldn't be fucking around with. We don't think he got dry socket, but now he's gonna have to go back and see what they think is happening. Yay. So this is a first for us. The last one he had pulled, we didn't quite have that issue with, but we'll see what happens here. He has to go in on Wednesday. Alright. So we're slowly catching up to Bob. It's gonna take us a while, as always. Because, you know, he had his black canvas prepped ahead of time. And we're just gonna kind of see how this goes, but then again, we're not in a huge hurry. Not really. She likes to stand on that keyboard.
Yes, she does.
And I don't know why. There's all sorts of other things for her to sit on and stand on over there, but nope. I don't think it puts out that much warmth. I mean, it's keyboard.
I think it's incidental. It lets her sit on the end of my desk, which is what really matters.
What were you making?
We just had some beets rolls.
Oh, can you stir that while you're up, or at least check the water level?
Look, I think it looked good. I'll double check.
Okay. Sorry. I had to start dinner early for what we were having. When we last went grocery shopping, like, beef stew cubes
Water
were...
level's still good.
Okay.
I had to turn it down at one point. Get off my keyboard! Get off my keyboard! I'm a punk!
She says no, it's my... She says it's my keyboard. It's her keyboard now, apparently.
I guess.
She's like, well, you got up and walked away.
What is your malfunction?
he's playing with her. He's not really that upset. If he was that upset, he would have picked her up and put her on the floor.
I'm gonna put your ass outside.
No, she came from outside.
I'm not gonna put her outside, for fuck's sake.
Though she did escape us after we adopted her.
Yeah, but we got her back awful damn quick. I don't think she intended it. She just got scared and dashed for the door.
Yeah, she parkoured off my thigh. I think we were trying to start the vacuum or something, and we didn't have the screen door hooked, or I was trying to go out the screen door, and all of a sudden I had cat nails in my thigh, and a cat ran out the door on me, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, no, that's because you were panicking and going after her. I was trying to come in. You were trying to get her.
Is that what it was?
Door. Yeah. That's why I tell you just move when you get all like, oh, the cat's gonna be by the door. Just keep moving. It'll be fine.
But
don't act weird. They won't act weird in turn.
she like got out to the driveway, I think. And then I think she realized where she was. And then she's like, what do I do? We got some food. And it took a little bit of coaxing. But we did manage to get her back in the house. So it was shortly, it was like right after we had adopted her. I think like maybe the day after. So I think she was still getting used to being inside. Though we think she had been inside before. She certainly didn't seem feral.
No, she was an indoor cat at some point because she didn't need training about cat boxes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Usually with older feral cats, you gotta teach them.
So we don't know if somebody dumped her because she was getting old. Or what. The pound tried to locate her owner, but they only have a 7-day hold before they'll put them up for adoption because they don't have the room to hold them for longer than that. Our pound is very busy. It's a no-kill shelter, but it's a small shelter. It runs on blood, sweat, and tears, or blood, sweat, and volunteers, let's put it that way. And all of the fundraisers ever. But they're also tapped pretty hard because people keep coming to our town and just dumping their pets on like the country roads going through the mountains where there aren't as many people. Although a couple people have been brazen enough to like dump them in parking lots when there's a bunch of other people around and take off. I'm like, just fucking, you know, either list an ad in the paper or put a sign up or something. Don't just be dumping them somewhere. Like, what the hell? I'm sure if you like called the pound, at least our pound, they might have been able to work something out with you where maybe you could foster them while they were looking for homes for them. And then maybe you wouldn't have to like do a relinquish fee since the pound wouldn't have been housing them. I don't know. But holy hell. Like, there had to be another way. Did you ever get a hold of our neighbor?
I haven't tried to.
She asked us to look at something that she picked up, and we did, and we said, okay, well, you know, we might be able to give it back to you tomorrow. And we still have it, and that was like almost a week ago. One day we tried to get a hold of her. She's like, oh, I'm not home. Like, okay. Alright, so we're just kind of working on getting our background in here. And I know this is kind of like the boring part where we're working on getting a block of color put in. But it still needs to get done, whether it's boring or not. Now I could come in with a little bit of our red and start to fill in up in here, just to kind of get an idea of what we're looking like. Or we could finish filling out around in here and then grab the red. Have to see. Still feels a little loose in there. Alright. So, I mean, we could grab a little bit of the red and at least, you know, get maybe in here done. I don't want to go too far past that, though. But I hate, like, jumping all around, too, so maybe we'll just stay with our corner here. And again, these lines that we drew in when we were getting started, just potential guidelines here. It's fine if we go over them. Not a huge deal. We can ignore the lines all we want. I don't want to ignore this outer line though, because that's where we're gonna trim off our edges. But these inner lines, they can change and fluctuate. And what the heck ever. We'll figure it out. Not a huge deal. So it is a little bit tougher to make sure that you've got all of your black attached because it is a dark color. So, you know, just take your time, fuss with it until you're satisfied with its level of attachment. trying something a little bit new this time, where we're not trying to stab too far in. We'll see how that goes. And this is the black acrylic yarn from Joann's, from their Big Twist value line, one of their house labels that we are currently using. Alright, so it's not too bad. There was a little bit on the back there that it didn't look like was poked through at all. So I just want to make sure that we are good there. Alright. So this is going to be kind of like, the light from here is going to be picking up the clouds around it kind of deal, like splashing the color up there. So this can be kind of messy and... Oh, don't stab thyself. Okay, good. My hands decided they weren't going to hold that anymore. That's always fun when my hand decides to do that. It's like, no, I'm tired of holding this. You hold it. My hand just kind of goes on strike and I'm like, what are you doing? Stop that. That was not okay. You like picked the worst time to do that, friend. I broke a couple of scanners at the craft store. Or at least helped them on their way to needing to be replaced a lot faster because of that. They were awkward though. They weren't like the hand trigger scanners. They were like a weird, I can't even describe it. It was so big. It was like the size of your palm. And it was like rounded on the one end. It was like a one end rounded square. It was so bizarre in its shape. And they weren't exactly the easiest things to pick up and hold, but sometimes we had to pick them up out of their little holders on the counters to try to reach larger stuff that was in the shopping carts. It was too big to put on the counters. Or too heavy to get back out of the cart just to put on the counter. So we had a few big items. Not too many, but we had a few. Alright, so we're just going to move over to this section of the mat now. Alright. So, we're gonna grab our first piece of, well, our second piece of fluff since we've started out of the bag. That first bit of fluff went pretty far. So that's pretty good. Pretty happy about that. Sometimes doing these larger sections of color, solid color, can really burn through the fluff pretty fast. And again, we're okay if we have a little bit of gaps forming here around the edges of where our color is going to come in, around the lighthouse. Now, I know we haven't advanced the tutorial yet, but that's because we're trying to catch up a bit here and get some stuff done. I will say our black yarn here looks really nice off of this blue pad. They look very nice together. Not that that really matters, but it's giving it that little pop of color. Instead of everything being so drab and gray. Alright, that's not looking too bad. Okay. Our edge so far is looking pretty good over here. So far, so good. The only bad thing about the black yarn is that it shows every odd strand of colored fluff that somehow got pulled in with it. No different than your clothes where black's gonna show every piece of fluff, like dog hair, cat hair, guinea pig hair. The hell is that noise?
Kind of sounds like a helicopter. Yeah.
Okay. Seemed awfully low. And very sudden. Unless somebody was getting a drone delivery. So one of our closer Walmarts has this fucking drone station set up. I've never heard them, like, they put it up, and we see them testing flying it around at times. But I don't know if the thing's ever actually made a delivery. Because they were experimenting with it at one point. I don't know if they're still experimenting with it or if they actually tried to start doing small light deliveries with it. I have no idea. But it just seemed like such a bad idea. So what? If it's raining, do they not do the drone deliveries? I mean, What if the drone delivers it to the wrong house? Are they actually monitoring it while it's delivering? I mean... Our luck, it would drop it on the roof and be like, hey, bye, and we're like, no, 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 no. I can't get that. I would imagine that they have cameras that they monitor, but how far out do they do the drone deliveries? Are they restricted to distance? I mean, you would think they would be, but... Okay. I mean, so far, we're doing all right. I mean, there's a little bit of a thin spot right there. So we're going to throw a little bit more fluff over that, but I think we're doing pretty good. All things considered. I mean, we had to sketch everything out. And that always takes me a little bit of time to get my feet under me. Even though we did sketch it once yesterday. That was quick and messy, and I had wanted to make a few adjustments to it. I guess because we're not tapping that deep, we're not having the wool get swallowed by the needle, so. But of course, not tapping that deep makes it feel like this is taking a little bit longer. We'll see. We'll have to see how things go. Just have to remember to keep moving around every so often. But I kind of like how we're filling in here. I'm hopeful that this one will go fairly well. I am still working on that other edit. I've got another one lined up now too. But the editing's gonna get slowed down here soon. I do apologize for that, just time. Because the speed felt's just more of like a bonus end of project thing. Ooh, I'm determined to fucking snap this needle, I swear. But this speed felt is more of like a bonus, hey, here's the whole project in one piece deal. But that one with the bridge had 17 live streams on it, and I don't understand why I had 17 live streams on it, because none of them seemed exceptionally short. They were, I think there was one that was an hour and a half, but the rest of them were all pretty average length off of each other. For 2.5 hours. I'm just not quite sure why that one took a little bit extra, because I mean we even did we painted the hanging bars and stuff for it, and the dowel rods and things, and put them together. Now the last one we did took 13 live streams. Which was considerably faster. comparatively. So, but then again, the last one was also a little bit more simpler, I think. We did have a lot of, we did have a huge block of color that went in on that covered bridge one. So that might have been what it was, just the amount of time it took to put that in. For our sky. Because when I was going back and working on the edit, there was like condensed down into 20 minutes of just doing that one color, and I was like, oh damn. I was like, how? I mean, I know how, but it's like, oh boy. I got excited when I got to a new part of the live streams where we weren't working on that color. I was like, yay, we're moving on. But it is what it is, you know? But I was really excited for this one because it was different. It's a bit different for Bob to be working on here. So I want to be careful with my edge of the building. That is something I do want to be gentle with. Because we kind of need that structure a little bit sturdy. And not too wobbly, like it's gonna fall down in the first storm. So we'll see how we go here. And like I said, this one's gonna work outwards in, just so that we can get all of those colors layered up on top of each other. But I think we're starting out pretty good here. Or at least it feels that way. So what's everybody up to today? What you guys working on? Anything? Nothing? Just chilling out in the background? Or am I just your background today? It's fine if I am. I don't mind so much. Okay. So like I said, doing the shallower tappings does feel like it takes a little bit longer. To make sure we're all attached here, but at the same time, I think it's helping with the amount of fluff that we're using, because see, the back's not quite as fuzzy. It's fuzzy, it is coming through, but it's not the full-on carpet that we had going on with the other ones, at least so far. I mean, that might change as we go about here, but okay, I've got a little bit of thin spot right here, or at least it looks like a thin spot, and I don't think I can fix that with the red color, so just gonna pop a little bit more of our black on there. So now's the time when we want to fix that stuff as we're going through here. Take the time and fix it now. Will be so much less of a headache later. Now, that's not saying we won't have any thin spots to fix later. We could, potentially, but at least we're doing our best right now to reduce the amount we may have to deal with. Okay. Hi, buddy. It's 3:30. Do you know where your Momo is? My Momo's standing right next to me. Hi. What's doing? What's doing? What can I do for you, Mr. Dog? Mr. Mojito? Is it your 3:30 yard patrol time? Usually you're around 3 o'clock, so... He's a good boy. For all that he has the small, tiniest bladder ever. And it gets insistent about some things. He is still a good boy.
Pushy little shit. My pushy little shit.
Yeah, but we could have ended up with another Jake, so I'll take this.
I'm not so sure how much that was environmental here.
It could have been. Jake was my crazy half Pomeranian, half
Get
Sheltie.
off my keyboard, you little bugger!
She's like, no, I want to stand on it. Maybe she wants to play Red Dead Redemption. I think the cat wants to play it. Every time Russell stands up from his computer, she's standing or sitting or laying on his keyboard. Every time. It's another reason why I like my keyboard trays. I can just slide my keyboard under and then nobody's standing on it. I don't think he has enough height, though, to put one in. For him to use it comfortably, I'll put it that way. Because I had this keyboard tray on that desk before. Because that was my old desk that he took over. I can't remember what desk he was using before, but it was wobbly and didn't feel very stable.
even brought some Daddy Select, only the most tender grass.
Is that what he wanted?
He went out, he peed slightly, and then he laid down.
Oh, maybe
So
he
I don't
just
know if
wanted to be in the
wants this one
sun.
Outdoor time, but it's not happening right now. So.
It's awfully hot, buddy.
I think he enjoys the heat, to be honest.
I mean, he might. I mean, he gets under those blankets.
You know what else he enjoys? That grass.
And where was this from?
Well, the front planter.
Oh, up high?
Yeah, where you can't get to it. Like I said, Daddy Select.
So it was really about 3:30 snack time before dinner. Quite possibly. So did you find out yet if you guys are supposed to be streaming or
We're not.
okay, you're just sticking around?
Yeah.
That's a shame. I knew Tyler wanted to wrap that game up. So is it just too hard to do it without the other person?
Huh?
Is it just too hard to do it without the other person?
Oh, it's we don't know what we're doing. We want to experience it together.
No. The other game that he was trying to finish.
Oh no, Dan can't do Mondays now.
Yeah, but there was a couple days that you couldn't make it and they played it anyway, so.
Yeah, but Dan just can't make Mondays at all now, so.
I don't think he's gonna get that game finished. What is the storyline of that game anyway? He's too busy being a cowboy. Alright. So I'm not gonna do the whole thing black. I'm just gonna get like this section around up in here black, and then we'll start to fill in our colors. So colors are probably gonna start coming in next week at some point. Okay, so we have a little bit of black kind of sticking to the map, but that's not bad, actually. And it is kind of pulling up pretty good, so that's good. He's like, yeah, you can just like pull it off with your fingers. So that's good there. So we're just gonna turn the mat a little bit. What time is it? Okay. So I know we didn't get too far today, but you know, we're also being gentle and testing the waters with this new mat, seeing how we like it. And we're also trying this new method of not tapping too deep. We're trying not to. So So it is taking a conscious effort on my part to make sure that I'm not just going to town here. So where's my... Okay, so horizon line is here. So we'll have to put in some black around our roof line, and that's okay. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. But I have noticed that with us doing it with the kind of surface tapping, that we don't seem to be having quite as many thin spots. I mean, we've had a couple, but they weren't like huge gaping splits. So that's good. I am happy about that. Can't tell if that's a thin spot or just a light piece of fuzz that got worked into there. Okay. So it's not a super fast process for me. I do move a little bit slower. But I'm okay with moving a little bit slower, because it's really fun to watch everything kind of come together. And it gives me a chance where I'm like, no, let's do this. And we are learning a few things from Bob about how to approach some things and putting color in and stuff a little bit. He doesn't really go into color theory so much. But sometimes you just want to zone out and pick the color and just use it. So sometimes I wonder if we just make things too complicated. If we're making things more complicated than they have to be. Like, Bob taught you the technique that he used to paint. He didn't really get down into the science of color wheel and everything. He's like, these are the colors I'm using, and this is what we have to do to make this stick to this. This is why we're doing this. We have to make it darker so that the highlights will show up. We have to make it lighter so that the shadows will show up, you know. Very simple in explanation, And then I've seen other people that are trying to teach from like art class perspective where they're talking color wheels and color theories, and that might work for some people, but there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you just want to make the thing and you don't want it to be too complicated. You know? But so far now, I know this is just like a square sticking up out of the ground. I know it. It's fine. We'll get there. I didn't want to... Well, we couldn't really... We could have put the top on it, but it would have made things a little more complicated for getting the light into the windows and stuff, so I opted to wait until we get the yellow put in. And our reds and stuff before we go too crazy with putting the details in on that section. So what we have down so far is fine. And it's serving the purpose as placeholder for what we know is coming in. Now I did sketch out way ahead because we had our concept piece from yesterday, and that was just to try to help get position placement and stuff, because yesterday I felt like my positioning was a little off, felt like I was a little too far over. I wanted to tighten that positioning back up just a little bit. Now, I don't think his house was quite on the edge, but that's fine. In our scenario, it is. He's got that section so dark over there anyway that it might actually be, and we just can't see it. I mean, we didn't watch the tutorial step by step, but it's fine. For the concept, we just kind of looked at the finished piece and kind of went from there. We didn't really need to see the tutorial in full to get the idea down and to get our first test sketches in. Kind of thing, and it just gave us a chance to wrap our head around what we were doing next. Sort of thing. I do want this to be as straight as we can get it, though. I mean, it might be a little wobbly, and we'll be able to tidy that up a bit when we come in and put the colors of the lighthouse down. But at the same time, I kind of want to lessen the amount of work that we're going to have to do over there. Give me 1 second here. I just need to check something. Okay. So we'll get this guy kind of tucked into here. And hopefully, yeah, we're doing okay. See, it's not as fuzzy as they were. So I think this surface tapping thing is probably going to work out better for us in the end. And yeah, we're supposed to be going like this. It's just I was trying to move some fluff around. Sometimes to adjust the positioning of it, you kind of have to go in at a slight angle. Now, if we were using the wool or roving, whatever, wool substance, this might be attaching a little bit faster. Because they do say that the acrylic yarn doesn't like to stick to itself as fast or as easily. Which is why when you're doing the figurines, they suggest to at least have a roving core. And then you can like do the acrylic yarn on the outside of it to like put in your color and stuff. That's fine too. But this works with the acrylic yarn. We've proven that 7 times over now, at least. So, just takes a little bit of patience. This is something good to put some, either a podcast or a streamer or your favorite music that you can just kind of slightly disappear into. But if you guys end up doing any of this and like trying to follow along with Bob and stuff, tag me on Instagram or what's left of Twitter or I guess tagging me on Instagram would be about the easiest thing, or message me on Instagram and let me see. I'm excited to see what you guys are doing over there. The link to my Instagram is down below. At least it should be. Alright, I'm gonna turn our mat here just so we are in a different corner to be working in. Goodness. Black fluff and light colored animals don't mix. Though oddly enough, we only have one cat that's white, but it might also be picking up those stray white fluffs from the white yarn. That is entirely possible. Okay. So now I kind of have to work around our roof line here. As gently as I can. I mean, it's okay if we lose a little bit of it. And we probably will lose a little bit of it. But I'm going to try to hang on to as much of it as I can. Just so I'm not like losing the main basic shape to it. Oh my goodness, that car stereo. That can't be pleasant in that car. It can't possibly be. I mean, my ass was vibrating in my desk chair. In my house. With our windows closed. I'm like, what? How is that pleasant? I mean, that must be some really kick-ass awesome seat insulation or shock absorbers or something. Because I don't know, man. That was that disturbing to me, and I'm in my house, not even in your vehicle. I'm probably like 2 car widths away from your vehicle. I don't know. Alright. So far I'm happy with this mat. So far. See if my opinion changes over time. We'll see, we'll see. I think this is gonna be a fun one to do. Even though I was really nervous about pulling this off yesterday. I think we're gonna be okay. I say that now. Most definitely, but I mean, we'll be okay one way or another, but we'll see if my feelings on this drop as we go forward. But that's another reason why I've taken to doing the dry run with the colored pencils and getting the idea down, because then it helps me work through my uncertainties of the thing. Okay. So, we've almost got this side of the lighthouse filled in here. Almost. And again, we can clean up our edge here when we go to put the rest of him in place, but at least now we have a starting point to get off of there to work from as best as we can. So I don't know if we're doing any bonus stream tomorrow. We might not be. In fact, we most likely won't be. Just because I've got stuff I need to get done. I'd like to get some painting done tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So we've got just a little bit more black to fill in on this side. Just a little bit. Okay, I know we still have a little bit of fluff in there that's not quite attached, but that's okay because I need to grab this bit of fluff. And we will start to tap him in around. You said the water line was fine in that pot?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go check again in a minute if you want.
If you could. Okay. So I'm trying to remind myself. Surface stabs, surface stabs. Which is tough because I feel like we're learning this all over again. Because when I go fast, I want to just, go all the way through. But that's okay. Because we might be able to speed up a little bit with time after I get used to only doing the little tiny tappy taps. I mean, I'm sure I'm still gonna do the full on stabs at times. Like, I'm sure that's gonna happen. It's me we're talking about here. But if it can help us to prolong the life of our pad and stretch our supplies, because we won't be going through as much. Maybe I can bully my brain and my hand to work together and actually do the thing. yeah, I mean, that's what our back looks much different than it has in the past with just little surfy tappies. We'll see if that continues to ring true. It's not as deep on there. Okay. So we have this little area that I want to attempt to fill in here. Let's see if I can make that work. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't. We will find out. Probably gonna need to add another piece of fluff in here just to kind of finish filling in that section there that's gonna be a little bit bare. Alright. Get this guy. He's coming along. Slowly, but he's coming along. Probably gonna have to maybe add a tiny patch into there, or we might be able to fix it when we come in and do the side on the lighthouse, because I feel like I might put a more straight edge on that. I feel like I might need to, just to kind of even out any wobblies. Our surface tapping, though, is definitely making it stick a little bit less when we go to pull up periodically. We still want to do that with this mat, because that's what we were told to do, or else we could have some troubles. And that is okay. The surface tapping, though, makes it feel a little loose and still pretty soft. I don't think it actually is loose, it just feels it. Like it feels soft like it is. I'm not really seeing too much fiber movement there, so I think we're okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna come in and try to get this other edge of our roof here. Again, it doesn't have to be flopped in here just perfect. But if we can at least try to hold some of the line on that, that would be good. Now, I know where, this is like our horizon line, we've got some water back in here. I know the roof on this one wasn't quite as high in the sky, but that's an adjustment that I made that I wanted to do. Because this middle one's where our horizon line's gonna be. Again, it's our world, according to Bob. So that was just a slight adjustment that I made. And while we're following or trying to follow along as best we can with how Bob is doing it, there's going to be times where we're going to have to slightly wiggle to one side or the other just because we're not using paint. We are using a very different medium altogether. So we'll have to deviate a little bit here and there. I'm just trying to blend this patch together where everybody kind of met. I could see some edging forming there, and I was like, nope, 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 don't want that. I mean, if it becomes too eye-catching, I can just stick another little bit of patchy fluff over it. I mean, it might not be too bad. That little bit of fluff was being a little bit stubborn. Alright, so let's see. I think we're gonna have to pause there for today. Looking at the time here. But, you know, we're not doing too bad. We've got this section put in here. Well, first of all, we got everything sketched out. So, I mean, that's a win there. Well, I mean, we didn't sketch out how the clouds are gonna fit in here, but we'll figure that out. That'll be okay. We might wing that a little bit as we get over into there. But, you know, all things considered, we're not super far, but, you know, we're also being gentle with our new mat, which doing really good. We've got a little bit of loose fuzz there, but, you know, this is a wool mat. This is from Wool Buddy, not sponsored. I mean, definitely has not, I don't see ridging, but I mean, you can definitely feel where we, or see where we were doing it, so that's why we kind of want to jump around a little bit. And that's why I'm turning the mat every so often to force me into a different spot. But even all that considered, this surface tapping, it looks much different at the moment on the back than our other projects where it was pretty thick on the back. That looks like I actually got a little bit of a knot in there. But that's okay. That's all right. And we kind of have our black coming in around where our red's going to be, so the red will overlap the black just a little bit, then the orange will do the same thing, and then the yellow in the middle. So I think we're going to take the black, let me grab our reference photo here. So the black was pretty heavy all around in the background, kind of up to the horizon line. And we'll have a little bit of water peeking through back in here. No, that's still horizon. So no, we really won't have much water peeking back behind that, but that's fine. But in here, between the horizon and where our main wave line starts, you know, we're gonna have some more black in there, but I might hold on to that. And we might just do the black up to here, because I think this is a white line or separation between the two here, and then it starts to fill in. So, I mean, we'll figure it out as we go. We might have to make a couple of adjustments here and there, but I am feeling pretty good about this so far. Our edge is still pretty straight in there. This one's a little bit wonky, but that's okay, because the dowel rod's going to sit on the very edge of that, so even if it's a little tiny fractionally wobbly, it'll be alright. So that's going to do it for today. Next scheduled stream is going to be Thursday with Coral Island. Like I said, I don't know if I'm actually going to be doing anything extra this week. Definitely not tonight. I don't know, because I need to get some painting done, I need to get some editing done, I need to get all the things done, but we'll figure it out. If we do, we do, we don't, we don't. Just make sure you have your, oh, my fingers were swollen today. Make sure you have your notifications turned on, just in case I do, or you can follow me on Twitter or whatever the fuck it's calling itself now, and we'll go from there. But I think we're looking pretty good. That black looks really nice on there so far, so I'm excited to see how this one's gonna turn out. It's gonna be pretty colorful and stuff. I think this is a good black canvas one. But yeah, so I will see you all on Thursday. Hope you have a great week. Again, feel free to tag me on Instagram with anything that you might be doing. Link is down below. I love to see how everybody approaches stuff. And until next time, you guys, have a good one.